Hello everybody, and this is video 4 in the second series of Painter Step by Step. Okay, so we're looking at fluid brushes, and the next place I wanted to go was to the fluid paint brush control panel. Now what we have here is use fluid paint, fill in with paper grain. I wonder why that is. Oh, I know why it is. I'll tell you in a minute. Fluid opacity, mini fluid opacity jitter, fluid opacity smoothness, the expression for pressure, accumulation. What is that? So I just hit that by accident. Let's see, accumulation. It says set the rate of accumulation toward the fluid opacity level for each brush stroke. Minimum. Set the minimum rate of accumulation toward the fluid opacity level of the brush stroke. Accumulation. I wonder what that is different from reset. Reset is control the amount of color replenished in a stroke as opposed to accumulated. I guess that's build-up. And this is a kind of a build and sculpt category, so maybe that's what that is. We'll see. And then we have stroke jitter. Well, that's not in the same thing. So we have these are the fluid paint guys. So let's go up here to the general. And let's change soft alpha blend to grainy soft alpha blend. Okay, so what we've done is change that to grainy. Now I'm going to pull this back up. Now you can see that fill in paper grain is available. So let's again, the paper I have is this paper. And if I just paint with this shape builder with soft, with the soft grain, I'm not getting much grain, but it says fill in paper grain. So if I take that, let's see, fill in paper grain, increase the grain visibility across the entire brush stroke. If we take that off, I tell you what we need to do. Let's go up here. We're going to take this and we're going to increase the contrast. We're going to increase the scale and we'll decrease the brightness, and that should give us a fairly strong paper. Now we're using fluid paint without the fill-in paper grain. Okay, now we can see that paper grain a little better. Let's make it a little darker. That might make it better. Yeah, there we go. We can see that better. Now, if we fill in paper grain, wow. See, it's like it just fills it up. So you're not going to get as much. And that says increase grain visibility across the entire brush stroke if you fill in paper grain. That's not true. I don't believe. I mean, what I'm saying is if you take that off, you get the brush stroke. And that would make sense to me because it's not filling in the hills and valleys with paint. And then if you do that, well, it's there. It's just not as strong. All right, so if I do lighter, I can see it. But if I start doing heavy, it's going to fill in. Of course, it would fill in because this brush stroke goes from light to opaque. And so as I get darker and darker, I can see more until it gets there. I'm not sure about this. So let me look, make sure I haven't changed the general. All right, I tell you what, that's grainy soft alpha blend. Let's go to grainy hard alpha blend. Okay, now if we go grainy hard alpha blend and wow, now the fill-in paper grain is not available. Okay, grainy hard, and see that's grainy, so why wouldn't it be available? Let's do grainy flat alpha blend. Now it's available. Grainy hard alpha blend, and it's not. All right, well, let's just paint with grainy hard alpha blend. And I'm not getting much grain at all. So let's go to grainy flat alpha blend. It's there, but not very strong. If we take that off, look, then we're going to see a lot of it. I think this is reversed. And if we, let's go back to grainy hard. That's just bizarre that that's not showing. I would have thought that would have been showing really. Let's try the grainy edge. Oops, and that's, will that let us use it? Nope. So we're just going to get the grain on the edge like we would expect. Now this one we can put it in, the soft, or we can take it off. Okay, in my way of thinking on this one is that this thing increased grain visibility across the entire stroke. When it's unchecked, that would be the case. When it's checked, it seems to not do it as well. Now, a lot of times when I start doing these things, and I'm just trying it for the first time, basically, I might not get this to work. I might go to a different brush, and a different brush would work a lot better. You know, one of the, in another category, that one of the fluid brushes may work better. Okay, so we have fluid opacity and the min fluid and the pressure, and we know what that does. You know, this is the fact that you can do light pressure or heavy pressure and get opaque, and I need to put that back in. And I look, now I'm on grainy soft alpha blend. Yeah, that one works. All right, let me take this back to the default setting. Okay, so with the default setting, that's what we're getting. We can't change the paper because we're using soft alpha blend and there's no nothing in it. Now let's get rid of this and let's go down to this accumulation and see what happens. So if I take the accumulation up to 100% and I go light pressure, let's take the pressure off to none. We want to see what this accumulation does. So it's just like putting down a flat piece of paint or flat brush stroke. Let's try this accumulation at 50%. It's not looking a lot different, but again, I think I'm going to have to, let's bring this down to 0, and we'll take this back to pressure. Now we're at 50 and 0, so light pressure would give me a very light approach, heavier pressure gets it darker and darker, and as you run over the paint, it's a little darker. All right, so it's just a kind of a standard way the paint would brush and play or get opaque. Now I've changed it back to this, what it was before. Let's see if we can find that, getting rid of it. There we go. All right, so let's try this with it down low like this. Yeah, it's doing the same thing, so this is not really anything fantastic. Okay, so what we've done now is we've looked at this thing, we've looked at Impasto, we've looked at the dab options, and we've looked at the captured dabs. And next time we'll come back and we'll try a few more different brushes and see what they have to offer and see if we can figure out what we might use these brushes for. All right, talk to you in the next video. Bye-bye.